Imagine a land where time seems to slow down, where vast primeval forests meet Soviet-style grand boulevards, and where ancient castles stand guard over thousands of crystal-clear lakes. This is Belarus, often called the last hidden gem of Eastern Europe. Located right in the geographical center of the continent, Belarus is a country of striking contrasts and deep, soulful history. It is a place that many travelers overlook, but those who venture here are rewarded with incredible hospitality and a unique atmosphere that you cannot find anywhere else in the world. In 2026, Belarus is more accessible than ever before. With the extension of the visa-free regime for citizens of 38 European countries and the introduction of an easy electronic visa system for 67 nations, the doors to this mysterious land are wide open. Whether you are a fan of grand neoclassical architecture, a nature lover seeking the last remnants of Europe's ancient woodlands, or a history buff looking to explore the echoes of the Soviet era, Belarus has something for you. The country is remarkably clean, safe, and surprisingly modern in its urban centers. From the bustling, cosmopolitan vibe of the capital city, Minsk, to the quiet, cobblestone streets of historic Western towns, Minsk is a city that will truly surprise you. Often described as a living museum of Soviet history, it has transformed into a clean, green, and vibrant capital that perfectly blends the past with the present. The first thing you will notice is the sheer scale of the architecture. Independence Avenue stretches for 15 kilometers and is lined with massive, grand buildings in the Stalinist Empire style. It is one of the most complete examples of Soviet urban planning in the world, and walking down this wide boulevard makes you feel the weight and power of history. In the heart of the city, you will find Independence Square. It is one of the largest squares in Europe, covering 7 hectares. Here, the red brick walls of the Church of Saint Simon and Helena, also known as the Red Church, provide a beautiful contrast to the surrounding gray government buildings. Just a short walk away is the Upper Town, the historic soul of Minsk. This area has been carefully restored and is home to the elegant White City Hall and the Holy Spirit Cathedral. During the summer months, these cobblestone streets come alive with street musicians, open-air markets, and lively outdoor cafes. For a moment of quiet reflection, you must visit the Island of Tears. Located in a bend of the Svislok River, this moving memorial is dedicated to the Belarusian soldiers who lost their lives in the war with Afghanistan. The small chapel and the weeping willow trees create a peaceful atmosphere right in the middle of the city.
Independence Square is the true heart of the capital and a place of immense scale. Spanning over 7 hectares, it is one of the largest public squares in all of Europe. When you stand in the center, you are surrounded by an incredible mix of architectural styles that tell the story of the nation. On one side, you have the monumental Government House, a masterpiece of Soviet constructivism built in the 1930s. In front of it stands a tall bronze statue of Vladimir Lenin, which is one of the few monuments of its kind to survive the Second World War. Just across the square, the scene changes completely as you look at the Church of Saint Simon and Helena. Known locally as the Red Church, this beautiful neo-Romanesque building was finished in 1910. Its bright red bricks and tall towers create a stunning contrast against the gray and white tones of the nearby government buildings. Between these historic structures, you will find the Fountain of Three Storks. This fountain is topped with a glass dome and features sculptures of storks, which are the national bird of Belarus and a symbol of peace and family. One of the most surprising things about this square is what lies directly beneath your feet. Under the vast stone pavement is a massive underground world called Stolica. This is a 3-level shopping and entertainment center filled with shops, cafes, and restaurants. Victory Square is one of the most solemn and majestic landmarks in the capital, serving as a powerful symbol of national pride and remembrance. As you approach the square along Independence Avenue, your eyes are immediately drawn to the massive granite obelisk that rises 38 meters into the sky. This monument was erected in 1954 to honor the soldiers and partisans who fought during the Great Patriotic War. At the very top of the pillar, you can see a 3-meter replica of the Order of Victory, which sparkles with bronze and colorful glass. At the base of the obelisk, a sacred eternal flame has been burning since July 3, 1961. It is a deeply moving sight, and you will often see locals and visitors laying flowers here to pay their respects. The pedestal itself is decorated with 4 large bronze reliefs that depict scenes of the war, including the joy of victory on May 9, 1945, and the heroic efforts of the Belarusian partisans. Around the monument, you will also notice 12 granite pedestals. These contain soil brought from the hero cities of the former Soviet Union, such as Moscow, Kiev, and the Brest Fortress. To get a closer look at the monument without crossing the busy traffic, you should use the underground pedestrian passage. This is not just a walkway, but a hidden memorial hall opened in 1985. Inside, the walls are lined with bronze plates bearing the names of 566 heroes who gave their lives for the country. The National Library of Belarus is one of the most recognizable and futuristic buildings in all of Eastern Europe. Often called the Diamond of Knowledge, this massive structure is shaped like a rhombic cubal octahedron, which is a complex geometric figure made of 18 squares and 8 triangles. The architects chose this unique shape to symbolize the priceless value of the knowledge stored within its walls. Reaching a height of 73.5 meters, the building is covered in heat-reflecting glass that sparkles in the sunlight like a real gemstone. The library is a true giant of the literary world, housing a collection of nearly 10 million items. If you were to line up all the bookshelves inside, they would stretch for 90 kilometers, which is almost twice the length of the highway that circles the entire city of Minsk. Inside, you will find 20 reading rooms that can seat 2,000 people at once. One of the most impressive features is the automated delivery system, which can find any book in the massive vault and deliver it to a reader in just 15 to 20 minutes. When the sun goes down, the library transforms into a spectacular light show. The entire facade is covered in more than 4,600 color-changing light fixtures. These lights turn the building into a giant electronic screen that displays moving patterns and vibrant colors that can be seen from miles away. Mir Castle is one of the most iconic symbols of Belarus and a designated UNESCO World Heritage Site. Located about 90 kilometers southwest of Minsk, this architectural masterpiece looks like something straight out of a fairy tale. The castle is a unique blend of Gothic, Renaissance, and Baroque styles, reflecting the different eras of its 500-year history. Its 5 massive brick towers, decorated with white ornamental inserts, stand tall over a picturesque lake, creating a perfect reflection that photographers from all over the world come to capture. Construction began in the early 1500s by the Ilyinich family, but it was the powerful Radziwill dynasty that transformed it into a luxurious palace. As you walk through the inner courtyard, you can feel the transition from a cold, defensive fortress to a grand, noble residence. The walls are 3 meters thick, and the towers were designed as independent strongholds. Inside, the museum spans across 39 exhibition halls. You can explore the lavish banquet rooms with their carved oak ceilings, the armory filled with knightly armor, and the atmospheric wine cellars in the basement. One of the most thrilling parts of the visit is climbing the towers. The spiral stone staircases are incredibly narrow and steep, designed specifically to make it difficult for attacking knights in heavy armor to reach the top. If you make it to the upper tiers, you will be rewarded with a view of the surrounding English landscape park and the nearby village.
Nezvish Castle is widely considered the most beautiful residential palace in Belarus. Located just 30 kilometers from Mir, it was the primary seat of the Radziwill family, one of the wealthiest and most powerful dynasties in European history. While Mir feels like a rugged fortress, Nezvish is a true palace of elegance, blending Renaissance and Baroque styles. The complex is surrounded by high earthen ramparts and a wide moat filled with water from the Usha River, making it look as though the golden yellow palace is floating on its own private island. As you cross the stone bridge and enter the 6-sided courtyard, you are stepping into a world of incredible luxury. The interior features over 30 exhibition halls, each more impressive than the last. The Golden Hall is a highlight, with its 6-meter-high ceilings, gilded family crests, and massive fireplaces made of Carrara marble. You can also visit the Star Hall, named for its unique wooden ceiling featuring an 8-pointed gilded star, and the Armory Hall, which displays a vast collection of knightly armor and historic weapons. Nezvish is also famous for its mystical side. The most enduring legend is that of the Black Lady of Nezvish. It is said to be the ghost of Barbara Radziwill, who was secretly married to the King of Poland, but was tragically poisoned by her mother-in-law. Brest is a city with a heroic heart and a history that stretches back more than 1,000 years. Located right on the border with Poland, it has always been a gateway between the East and the West. The most famous landmark here is the Brest Hero Fortress, a massive memorial complex that stands as a testament to incredible courage. As you enter through the main gate, which is shaped like a giant 5-pointed star carved into a concrete block, you are greeted by the somber sounds of wartime melodies and the ticking of a metronome. Inside the fortress, the scale of the monuments is breathtaking. The main attraction is the Courage Memorial, a colossal stone sculpture of a soldier's head that rises 33.5 meters high.
Nearby, the bayonet obelisk pierces the sky at a height of 100 meters, symbolizing the strength of the defenders. You can still see the red brick ruins of the barracks and the Combs Gate, which is famously scarred with hundreds of bullet holes from the fierce battles of 1941. For a change of pace, you can visit the Berestia Archaeological Museum on the same grounds, where you can look down at an excavated 13th century wooden town preserved 4 meters underground. Moving into the modern city center, Sovietsky Street is the place to be. This is a beautiful pedestrian boulevard lined with 19th century buildings, cozy cafes, and iron sculptures. But the real magic happens at sunset. Every single evening, a professional lamplighter dressed in a traditional navy blue uniform walks the length of the street with a ladder. He manually lights 17 kerosene lamps, one by one, just as it was done in the old days. Brest Fortress is a place that leaves a lasting impact on everyone who walks through its gates. This massive memorial complex is more than just a military site. It is a profound symbol of courage and the indomitable human spirit. As you approach the entrance, you are met by a gigantic concrete star cut into a monumental block. Stepping through this star, you hear the haunting sounds of a ticking metronome and the famous radio announcement that changed history on June 22, 1941. The scale of the monuments inside is truly overwhelming. At the heart of the complex stands the Courage Monument, a colossal sculpture of a soldier's head carved from a massive gray rock. Standing at 33.5 meters high, its stern and determined expression tells the story of the defenders who held out against impossible odds. Right next to it, the bayonet obelisk pierces the sky, reaching exactly 100 meters in height. This slender, titanium-clad spire looks like a giant needle and can be seen from almost any point in the city of Brest. As you explore further, you will find the ruins of the White Palace and the brick walls of the barracks, still scarred with hundreds of bullet holes and shrapnel marks. One of the most moving sculptures in the complex is called Thirst. The Kamenets Tower is a truly unique monument and the only one of its kind that has survived in Belarus since the 13th century. Located in the small town of Kamenets, near the edge of the ancient forest, this red brick giant has stood for over 700 years. It is often called the White Tower, but this is actually a historical mistake. For centuries, the tower was never white. It was built with dark red and yellow bricks that were so strong, they eventually became as hard as solid stone. It was only briefly painted white in the 1950s, which is how it got its famous nickname, but today it has been restored to its original, authentic brick color. Standing 30 meters high, the tower resembles a massive chess rook. Its walls are incredibly thick, reaching 2.5 meters in some places. When it was first built by the architect Alexa between 1276 and 1288, it was a pure defensive fortress. There were no doors at the ground level back then. To get inside, soldiers had to climb a wooden ladder to a secret entrance located 16 meters above the ground. This made the tower almost impossible to capture, and it successfully withstood raids by crusaders and various ancient armies over the centuries. Today, the tower houses a fascinating museum spread across 5 different levels. On the first floor, you can see a reconstruction of the ancient basement where food and water were stored for long sieges. Braslav Lakes National Park is a place of breathtaking natural beauty, often called the Blue Necklace of Belarus. Located in the far northwest of the country, this national park covers nearly 70,000 hectares and is home to one of the most unique lake systems in all of Europe. Thousands of years ago, a massive retreating glacier carved this landscape, leaving behind deep basins, winding rivers, and rolling hills. Today, the park features around 300 lakes and ponds, each with its own character, from crystal clear waters to mysterious forest-fringed shores. The crown jewel of the park is Lake Drivyati, the largest in the region and the fifth largest in Belarus. Its vast, shimmering surface stretches across 36 square kilometers, making it feel almost like a freshwater sea. If you are looking for the absolute purest water, you must visit South Veloso. This lake is the deepest in the park, reaching down more than 40 meters. The water is so transparent that you can see deep into the underwater world, which is home to rare ancient crustaceans that have survived here since the Ice Age. One of the most fascinating features of the park is its islands. There are over 100 islands scattered across the lakes, but none are as famous as Chichin Island on Lake Strusto. This is the second largest island in Belarus, and it is truly special because it has its own small lake right in the middle of it, a lake within a lake. For the best view of this incredible watery maze, you should head to Mount Mayak. Polotsk is the oldest city in Belarus and is often called the cradle of Belarusian statehood. First mentioned in the year 862, it sits beautifully on the banks of the western Dvina River. This city was once the capital of a powerful principality, and today it remains the spiritual and cultural heart of the nation. When you walk through its quiet, green streets, you are walking through over 1,100 years of Slavic history. The most iconic landmark in the city is St. Sophia Cathedral. Built between 1044 and 1066, it was one of only 3 cathedrals in the ancient Slavic world dedicated to holy wisdom, standing alongside those in Kiev and Novgorod. While the original 11th century structure was damaged, it was beautifully rebuilt in the 1800s in a stunning white Baroque style. Today, it serves as a world-class concert hall. Hearing the thunderous sound of the massive organ inside this ancient building is an experience you will never forget. Just outside the cathedral, look for the Boris Stone, a huge 12-ton boulder from the 12th century with ancient inscriptions carved into its surface. Another essential stop is the St. Euphrosyne Monastery, founded in 1125. Vitebsk is known as the cultural capital of Belarus and a city of endless artistic inspiration. Located in the northeast of the country, where the Vitva and western Dvina rivers meet, it is a place where history and creativity are woven into every street. This city is famously the birthplace of the world-renowned painter Marc Chagall, who immortalized the wooden houses and blue churches of his hometown in his dreamy, floating masterpieces. Even today, you can visit the small red brick house on Pokrovskaya Street where he spent his childhood and see the very rooms that fueled his imagination.
The heart of the city is dominated by the elegant town hall, which stands as a symbol of freedom. Its tall clock tower offers a fantastic view of the historic center. Right nearby, the Holy Resurrection Church catches the eye with its graceful white walls and Vilnian Baroque style. This church was so beautiful that legend says even Napoleon Bonaparte was captivated by it during his campaign in 1812. Just across the square, the majestic Assumption Cathedral sits on a high hill, its golden domes gleaming over the river and providing one of the most picturesque vistas in the entire country. If you visit in the summer, you will experience the city at its most vibrant during the Slaviansky Bazaar. This is one of the largest international arts festivals in Europe, bringing together thousands of performers and guests from dozens of countries. Turów is one of the most ancient and mysterious towns in Belarus. Often referred to as the Jerusalem of the Polessia region. First mentioned in the year 980, it was once the capital of a powerful principality and a major center of Christianity for all Eastern Slavs. Today, it is a peaceful town nestled on the banks of the Pripyat River, where deep history and natural wonders live side by side. The most famous mystery of Turów is the growing stone crosses. Locals and pilgrims believe these stone crosses are alive because they appear to be slowly rising out of the ground at the Boryso-Glebskoye cemetery. According to ancient legends, 12 stone crosses originally sailed to Turów from Kiev, traveling against the river's current in the year of the baptism of Rus. While many were lost over the centuries, several have reappeared. One of these crosses is kept inside the wooden All Saints Church, a beautiful monument of folk architecture built in 1810. Another can be found in the courtyard of the majestic Cathedral of St. Cyril and Lawrence, which was built to honor the city's famous theologians. Just a few steps from the town center, you can visit the ancient Turów archaeological complex. Lepo Lake is a hidden treasure of the Vitebsk region and one of the most ecologically clean bodies of water in the entire country. Spanning over 10 square kilometers, this lake is famous for its intricate shape, with deep bays and long peninsulas that create a coastline stretching for almost 40 kilometers. The water here is incredibly clear, with transparency reaching up to 4 meters in some areas, making it a favorite spot for both divers and those looking for a peaceful escape into nature. The city of Lepel itself, which sits on the southeastern shore, has a history that goes back to the year 1439. One of the first things you will see in the city park is a monument to Lev Sapieha, the great statesman who founded the modern city and gave it its first laws. But the most unusual sight on the lakefront is the bronze sculpture of the Leopold Smock. According to Belarusian mythology, the Smock is a friendly water dragon or serpent that lives at the bottom of deep lakes. Legend says that these creatures were patrons of family happiness and would often come to the shore to bless wedding feasts. The friendly-looking dragon has become a beloved symbol of the city, and every year the town hosts a unique festival dedicated to this mythical character. For those who want to fully immerse themselves in the lake's beauty, Priest's Island is a must-visit. This large island in the middle of the lake is home to a modern recreation center and is covered in lush pine forests. You can spend your day wandering through the woods, picking wild berries, or visiting the island's mini zoo,